Welcome back to the 2-Minute Warning. Today, I'm looking at whether or not I think Justin Herbert and Brandon Staley could possibly create the next dynasty. And I understand, before getting to the topic, that is a bold phrase, especially when we've seen barely anything out of the two guys. Justin Herbert's only played a rookie year. Brandon Staley hasn't even coached an NFL game yet. But I think these two have shown so much already that is at least worth making conversation. I don't think the prediction can be officially made today, but I do think these two have so much talent and so much potential that is at least worth talking about. But before getting that, question for those of you viewing: do you think the Chargers will take down the Chiefs in 2021 and possibly win the division, or do you think it'll take 1 to 2 more years? You got them winning right away in Justin Herbert's sophomore year, or giving them 1 more year? Comment down below. But getting straight into it, like I said, I'm not trying to compare. Everyone defines a dynasty differently. I'm not trying to compare Justin Herbert and Brandon Staley to the next Belichick and Tom Brady, or the next Walsh and Montana, or Lombardi and Starr, or you could even argue that Mahomes and Andy Reid might be creating a dynasty in their own division. Everyone defines dynasty different, but being a memorable NFL duo team that is remembered in NFL history forever is what really defines dynasty for me. And of course, winning as well comes a part of that. Winning multiple Super Bowl comes a part of that. But Brandon Staley, he should probably be the elephant in the room because he hasn't even coached a single game yet in the Chargers. They struggle to find head coaches at times. Anthony Lynn, they gave him way too many shots. I had hope for him at one point. And Staley, he hasn't coached an NFL game, but just the aura, the presence, the energy he puts in the Chargers front office and the management and the locker room with the players seems unlike any other that they have had in a while. He just brings a lot of spirit to the Chargers team, and it seems like everyone a part of that team loves the guy. Not just Herbert. The rookies seem to love him. Tom Telesco seems to love him. I don't want to say veteran guys. Joey Bosa's not really veteran, but the guys have been there a little bit love him. Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Joey Bosa, the guys that have had several years with the Chargers seem to love him. Brandon Staley, and you got to be in love with your coach. You can't hate the guy, but obviously, no matter how much you love the guy, he's got to coach football, so that's going to be the question mark, of course. But his resume is pretty solid with the Broncos, with the Bears, and with the Rams. Just last year, he led them to the number 1 defense in the NFL, and he did get a little help, of course, from John Johnson, Troy Hill, Jalen Ramsey, Aaron Donald. Got the number 1 corner and the number 1 defensive player in the NFL on the same team. Brandon Staley definitely had a little help there, but Chargers got their own talent. You got Joey Bosa up front to compare him to Aaron Donald. You got Derwin James out back to compare him to Jalen Ramsey. It's not like he has nothing to work with now. And on offense, Brandon Staley, being a former quarterback, he's going to, be able to mess with Justin Herbert's mind in the sense of get him to that next level. We've already seen a lot of Herbert, but maybe he hasn't even reached half his potential yet. And talking about Herbert, obviously the quarterback's got to be a part of the dynasty as well. It's still early, I understand, but just the rookie records he shattered as a rookie in only 15 games. Pretty much the only one he didn't break was the passing yards, but even then, I think he was like 30 or 40 yards short, and he only played 15 games. You give him a full season, that 16th game, something tells me Justin Herbert could throw an extra 35 yards. But breaking the passing touchdowns, the total touchdowns, most touchdowns in a game, most multiple touchdown games, most 300-yard passing games, Justin Herbert broke almost every quarterback rookie record, and that is just the beginning. He didn't come into the NFL as generational talent, but he played the first year in his NFL as generational talent, and that's what it takes. Like I said, the guys on this list, Mahomes, Montana, Brady, these are all-time greats, and you have to be an all-time great to be a part of a dynasty. And of course, it goes much further than just a quarterback and a head coach. It takes a whole team to win a Super Bowl, of course, but Chargers, they got a relatively young team to work with. They just drafted a great rookie in Rashawn Slater, who's possibly going to be with Herbert his entire career over the next 10, 15, maybe 20 years. Asante Samuel Jr., another good rookie to help out the secondary. Derwin James, when healthy, is arguably the number 1 safety in the NFL. He's only 2-3 years in the league. Joey Bosa, he's relatively young. He's only, 4 or 5 years in the league. Kenneth Murray Jr., just a rookie last year. This Chargers team has so much young talent. It's obviously going to take the whole team to become a dynasty, but I do think it's possible. And obviously, the elephant in the room is, the Kansas City Chiefs being in your own division, being another dynasty. It's going to be hard to get there when you not only have to possibly play a Super Bowl team in the Super Bowl to win it all, but to go through the Chiefs, a Super Bowl team, to even get there. It's going to be tough. It won't be easy. This is why it's an NFL dynasty. You're one of the most memorable teams, duos, squads, whatever you want to call it, of all time, and it won't be easy, but I just think from what we've seen, it is possible. Brandon Staley, just the way guys attach to him, the way he leads guys, and I think the way he's going to lead an entire team on both offense and defense is going to come in handy. And it's going to take some growing pains. I mean, they don't got to win it this year by any means. They don't got to win it within the next 3 years to become a dynasty. I mean, it could take, Brandon Staley's a click, but, Joe Lombardi, the offensive coordinator, it's not. Maybe Justin Herbert's a click and Keenan Allen's a click, but Mike Williams, now we got to find another receiver. I mean, it's going to take some growing pains, and they're not going to click right away, and I'm not saying they're going to become a dynasty this year, but I do think it's possible we see a lot of progress this year. I think it's possible we see a playoff appearance this year. It's possible they take down the Chiefs this year and win the division. It's possible they win the Super Bowl this year. I think it's a little early, but anything is possible, and I do think it is possible they become a dynasty just from what we've seen. You don't just come in and break almost every single quarterback rookie record and all of a sudden just become a bust. That just doesn't happen, and you don't become just no one, and you don't become not successful at all. They've just, the way they're sitting right now with a young team all around, great proven talent, even your older guys, I don't want to say Keenan Allen's old, he's still in his late 20s, but even your guys that are veterans per se compared to this team, I want to say they're veterans in the league, but veterans compared to a couple guys on this team, still great talented guys. Keenan Allen, Chris Harris Jr., Michael Davis, they're not veterans, Chris Harris Jr. is, but they are still old enough / young enough to be a mentor, yet athletic enough to still be in their prime. This Chargers team, they got the perfect blend of youth, athleticism, mentorship, potential, talent, raw skill to, I think, absolutely become a dynasty. Matching up against the Chiefs, that would obviously be the biggest concern, but quarterback, you got a top 10 quarterback as a rookie. Obviously, you're comparing him to the number 1 quarterback in Mahomes, but as a rookie, who's to say Herbert won't win MVP next year and be a top 3, top 5 quarterback? Pass rush, or I shouldn't jump straight to defense, but receiving core, you got your Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, McCole Hardman, but on the Chargers, you got your Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, new rookie Josh Palmer, Jared Cook. He could still catch the ball. 6'8" Donald Parham might turn around. Chargers got a good receiving core of their own. Backfield, Clyde Edwards-Helaire can run the ball better, but Austin Eckler can receive the ball better. Looking at the defense, pass rush when it comes to the Chiefs, Frank Clark, Chris Jones together might be better than just Joey Bosa. But if you got a guy like Brandon Staley who can help out these other guys on the pass rush, Jerry Tillery, Chris Rumph, a new rookie, Justin Jones, maybe Kenneth Murray will create pass rush. Pass rush is just as good as the Chiefs. Secondary, Chiefs are kind of just starting to become more Tyrann Mathieu just in the secondary. I feel like yet Chargers, they're getting better. Once they get Derwin James back, possibly you got a safety that's already topping Tyrann Mathieu. Asante Samuel Jr. might be limited physically, but if Brandon Staley is a dynasty head coach, he's going to get the most out of Asante Samuel Jr., Chris Harris Jr., Michael Davis, like I said earlier. This is a great squad that I think can become a dynasty. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I'm not predicting right now, are they gonna? It's just way, way too soon. I'm not saying yes or no today, but I am saying it is possible today. Any team is possible. I mean, you could take damn New York Jets, Detroit Lions to say any team is, I guess, going to be a dynasty, maybe. And you could say possibly on anything. But I just think the Chargers have proven enough to at least have a serious conversation about it, not a blown out of proportion one. Like if you said, oh, Jared Goff and the Lions are going to be a dynasty or whatever you want to say. I think there's enough evidence to at least create a relevant conversation. Not enough evidence to say it's going to happen, but enough evidence to say it can realistically happen. Of course, I don't say Justin Herbert is the lock-in for to be a dynasty quarterback, but between the two of Staley and Herbert, I would say Brandon Staley is the bigger question mark just because we haven't seen him play head coach yet. But again, maybe say Brandon Staley is going to carry Herbert. Anything can happen, but I am excited for this Chargers team for 2021 and on. I love that quarterbacks are playing 20 years now. We've only seen 4 or 5% of Justin Herbert's whole career if he actually has a 20-year career, but who's to say it won't end tomorrow? I don't know. Anything is possible. As always, guys, I want to hear your opinion. Do you think they'll win the division? I think they're 1, maybe 2 years away from topping the Chiefs just yet. But if it does happen, I'm not surprised. But I do want to hear you guys. I think they'll be a playoff team and a wild card team. But I don't think they'll take down the Chiefs just yet. Of course, pending a Patrick Mahomes injury. But what do you guys think? And of course, what do you think of the video and my thoughts on a possible dynasty? And as always, and of course, thanks for watching, guys. I truly appreciate it.